Hey, everybody. Grant Miller here, Miami Community News. Jerry Williamson is in the house. You're with Rise Preparatory Academy.
Yes.
I've been following you on Facebook, I don't know, years. I was like stalking you because you do highlights of Little League, and then you got them from high school. I don't know you at all. This first time I met you. It's pretty exciting because I know that you've changed kids' lives, parents' lives, and it's incredible what you do. You grew up in Miami, correct?
Yes, correct.
You grew up in West Bryan?
Yes.
Did you used to eat at Flavors, Mr. Bell's place?
Yes.
I could tell you and I both eating there.
Yeah.
We're both waiting for it to reopen.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about you and how you got into this thing.
As far as my education or more so the sports?
Everything. You grew up, you played for Palmetto Raiders. Who was your coach? Fryer?
Yeah, so, I'll start over. Okay, so from Little League to high school?
Yeah, yes.
So from Little League, pretty much I played for South-Dade Rams at the time, which is they discontinued. And then for the Palmetto Raiders, I played only the Jamboree. At that time, it was weighted football. It was 155s, and I couldn't make weight.
Who was the coach? Do you remember?
I can't remember the coach's name right
Was Fryer there? Was he still there?
Well, Fryer was there. Fryer is a legend. Coach Tom
He is
Fryer.
a legend.
Yeah.
And he's a great fisherman.
Yes.
But he never invited either one of us on his boat.
That's fine.
Okay, so and then you went to Palmetto High School or Southridge?
I went to Southridge as a ninth grader. Base was going to play, literally was playing JV with Mr. Williams. That was the only time when plays was falling out through to like heat strokes and et cetera. And I remember I had a hole in my heart. So because of that situation, I was not able to finish off playing football. And I had number 17. I wore number 17 at Miami Southridge as a freshman. Went to practices, but due to what was happening, the doctor didn't clear me to play. So yeah, my high school ended pretty early due to that situation. Most people don't know. They don't know that information. So now.
And then you graduated from Palmetto.
Yes, I ended up transferring from Southridge my 10th grade year, and I went to Miami Palmetto. I did my last 2 years there, and I graduated. And I went off to Miami-Dade College, where I earned my A degree. I went to FIU, earned my bachelor's, and then I went to St. Thomas for the master's, the MBA.
In
program. What? Master's of Business Administration with a concentration in sports management.
Well, St. Thomas is well known for that.
Yes, that's where I went there.
St. Thomas is an incredible school.
Right.
Now I forgot the head president's name, but I'll remember in a second. All right, so then you get your master's degree. Were you working, or what were you doing at the time?
At that time, I was still coaching youth football, and I was helping kids get into college.
Okay, what youth program? Which one were you coaching?
At that time, Palmetto Raiders at that time. So while I was in college, I was coaching Little League with head coach Artis Knight, who actually
Come on, Knight?
Yes, Artis Knight. Yes.
No way. I've known him forever.
Yes, he gave me an opportunity. It was a great experience. We went undefeated in Miami. We won the Southeast, and we was one game away from national championship, and we lost. So, but it was a great experience and bringing me on board. So I always appreciate him actually giving me an opportunity. Years prior, I was with Coach Rich Tejeda at Coral Reef.
Tejeda?
Yes, I was there, and I was a part of that three-peat.
Wait, you coach Rich Tejeda?
Yeah, yes, I was on the staff. Yeah.
Remember the intramural program there?
Yes.
I started that there.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those little kids.
Pack. Yeah, every year.
We had 150, 160 kids. That was, when was that? Long time ago.
That's when it was called the Coral Reef Broncos at that time. Coral Reef, yes.
And then his brother Marty. Was Majuri coaching with you that year? Who else was coaching with you guys?
Pretty much. What's the defensive coordinator with the mullet?
Yeah, he passed away.
Yes. He's the defensive coordinator at the time.
He used to do windows.
Yes. Do you know Jeff Lee at the time? He's a D-line coach. Coach Jeff Lee.
Come on, of course, Jeff Lee.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you the history about this. If it wasn't Coach Jeff Lee, I probably would not be coaching. It was a time that he used to come to West Bryan to pick up the kids for football, and one of my friends, coach, was playing for Coral Reef, and at that time I was over his house, and he allowed me to come one day and took one trip, and from there I was like a part of the team, and he just brought me along.
General Lee, we call him.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think that it was 91. Oh, no, 94, 95, when we were either 94, 95, 96, right around then.
Right.
Because I left President Pop Warner in 93 I ran the Broncos intramural program then.
Right.
That's when the Broncos were, and Cannon was there a couple years.
Correct.
Both Cannons.
During that year we went nationals, Cannon also went nationals as well.
Right.
So it was 2 teams. Cheerleading always with nationals. That was just a staple. He was
Right.
great at that.
All right. So after you left the Broncos, then what?
After I left the Broncos, that's when I actually ended up going to the Palmetto Raiders. But it's something that just started out the blue. I used to always come watch Coach Knight. You know, I was a fan of Coach Knight. He won back-to-back national championships. His teams are always organized. They look the best, as Deion say, look good, feel good, play good. So Coach Knight, I was a big fan of him, and I used to come around a lot, and he asked me, hey, you want to coach? And I was like, hey, why not?
All right. So you went from Little League to a little high school. You coached a little high school?
High school, I actually was, at that time, it wasn't for long. Calusa Prep, they opened up a program during that springtime. At that time, I was pretty much like the team manager of the team.
At Calusa.
At Calusa
They
Prep.
had a great basketball team back then.
Right. The football program, it closed down ahead of time, but that's something I was doing. So that's kind of like how I was growing in this football world. You know, I was pretty much a coach, and then I began writing later on, and I'd tell you how that happened. But I ended up becoming a writer. Most people didn't know that, hey, I didn't know you can write well. And then from there, I ended up featuring kids from 7-on-7 with Strong Arm first, then with Florida Fire, and then before I realized it, I had a hidden gift. I can look at a kid and make an early projection. So I used to call them a rising star. This is before I actually had the name Rising Stars. I look at a kid, and before not even knowing him, watching him play, hey, you know what? I'm going to label you a rising star. A rising star is a kid. Usually, this is the fun part. It's a rising star is a kid that no one knows about. So to me, it was an art. If you're already good, that's fine. I like to go around and find who's the next guy that no one knows about. And that's how Rising Star became. And then the name eventually became Rising Stars. So, you know,
That's pretty cool.
So I was working around without an actual name.
What's that flag football guy? Jose, starts with the last name D.
Flag right now?
Yeah.
What league?
7-on-7. Jose starts DUSS.
Duaso.
Yeah. What team
He's
is he?
with Raw Miami.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, he used to coach Little League football back then too.
Right.
All right, so how do you get into this academy prep? How did you put it together?
From my time so prior, most people don't know I'm also an educator. I was a math teacher. I taught literally charters, private, public school. It didn't matter from honors, general ed, special ed. I literally taught it all. Because of my history with football and with education, I put 2 and 2 together, and I began to realize that, hey, wait a minute, these intensive classes, these elective classes, they don't count towards the NCAA. And then from helping kids go off to college, I remember looking at transcripts and talking to college coaches. So one day it all made sense. Okay, these kids only need these courses. Okay, it doesn't take a whole year.
I'm a little confused. Let's start over.
Okay.
You take 5 or 6 classes a day.
Right.
There's the core classes.
Correct.
And then there's
electives. Right.
So what you did, you got rid of the electives and took more course so they could graduate earlier.
Correct.
People don't realize if you're a good athlete, you want to be in college for that spring practice.
Correct. Only core would do it, not electives.
That's correct.
So, and of course, at that time, when I stepped out from the public school education world, I didn't have $4 or $5 million to buy a campus and buy land. So I started doing homework on online education, and I came across a curriculum, and I was like, oh, wait, this is pretty good. And I studied it, and I realized that, you know, a student can earn 6 core classes from August to January, not a whole year, from August. So that's equivalent to 2 quarters in the public school. I was able to create the plan where they can do a whole year in 2 quarters. So while like your son's at a traditional school, once January is over with, they're doing what, 3rd and 4th quarter for a whole credit?
Right.
My kids are doing next year courses. So
that's online.
Yes, online. We have a small location, which is technically my office. Think of Florida Virtual School. Think of Florida Virtual School. So that's technically us. We're an online school. We do have a small location, which is technically my office, which we pretty much made an open bay for kids who love the program, but they do not want to stay home. So they're able to come in person. We actually have certified teachers. So the way the program works is you log on. It's like college. You have 7 days.
This doesn't have to be athletes. It could be, this is anybody.
Students. So I'm happy you mentioned that. This past year, we had 4 students accepted to the University of Miami. Not student athletes, University of Miami. The year before, we had a student accepted to Columbia, Ivy. So this program that I have, it works for both sides, students and student athletes. It just, unfortunately, we live in South Florida, and what do South Florida loves more? Sports. So my sports, unfortunately, my students who play sports, they receive most of the plays. You know, for us having 4 students at the University of Miami, you would think that would have topped it, but we also had 29 Division I signees in 1 year also too this past year.
Okay, so the challenge you have, you're getting them into college. You're getting them into college early.
Yes.
Are they graduating from college?
Yes. Well, my actual first class technically was 3 years ago. You know,
Okay.
prior I was elementary to middle school. That was it.
Okay, so now you got your graduating class of 3 years ago.
Yes.
Some of the 29, you said 29? Yeah.
This past class 2025, 29.
Your first graduating class a couple years ago, correct?
Yes, first, yes.
And how many were there?
It was only 32.
32. Are they graduating now? Or are they already graduated?
So this year will be most of them will be seniors this year coming up.
And how are they doing in school?
They're all with honor roll, well, dean's list as far as dean list, yes. And one of them actually has already completed an 8th degree, so they're like a year ahead.
And I'm trying to, for the people to understand, you know, not everybody finishes 4 years of college.
Correct.
Of sports, they go, that's it, I'm done.
Correct.
Or I got hurt, and I'm still there.
Mm-hmm.
How are that 30 kids doing?
They're all still in school, which is rare.
Right. Well, rare. They're still in school.
Yep. They're still in school and they're on track to actually graduate.
Okay, now, you're done with them, but you're really not. They still communicate with you.
Correct. Like, for example, Bobby Washington, he recently made the dean list at the University of Miami. So I was making
It's Bobby Washington Jr.
Well, Bobby Washington Jr., correct, yes. So
he went to Killian.
Went to Killian, yeah. So he graduated from Ross, went to Killian. And I told him every time you make a dean list that, you know, I was going to always reward him, you know. And that was just something we did before he literally blew up. And, yeah, I still keep in contact with him.
So what year is he in college?
He's going to be a redshirt junior this year coming up.
At Rice?
At University of Miami.
Right.
University of Miami.
But he didn't go there first, did he?
No, he went there first. He went there first.
You threw me off when you said Rice. I thought you said Rice.
Okay.
And
Rice.
And Roll's son went to Rice.
Which one?
Willie, Chief Roll's son.
Right. Oh, Sean Taylor.
Yeah. I just saw Chief this weekend.
Right.
And when you said Rice, it was connecting. Right. All right. So, what other kids are doing well in education wise?
Education. We have a student named Samaya Diva. She's the one who was accepted over 50 colleges as a senior. She's now.
She an athlete?
Not an athlete. She's a student.
And so she did your program.
Yes.
Got ahead. Got a better. You know, some people just do better now with a lot of students in class.
Right, correct. And that was my angle. Since I came from a traditional world, I noticed certain kids with no time constraints, without the bulk schedule, they did fairly well. And that's how I knew, hey, this is a game changer for students. But most importantly, Samaya Diva actually, she accepted a full scholarship at University of South Florida, by the way, also. But this is my motto. You need a total of 16 core classes to go off to college. So
how many?
16 cores. 16 cores and 80 electives. As far as graduation, that makes you 24 credits.
Right.
So basically with us, we do not offer sports. So their electives are automatically Godfather. They're going to earn weight training and team sports. So when they're with us, all they have to focus on the 16 cores. Now, follow me. If you're incoming 9th grade in August coming up, if you're a student that logs on and actually is focused, from August to January, you just earn 6 core classes. From January to June, you just earn additional 6 core classes. You have 12 core classes. So the start of your 10th grade year, from August to January again, you're gonna need 4 more core classes, and you're done with high school. So this is what I'm getting at with this. Come their 10th grade year, they're completed high school as far as credit-wise. We then have our students do dual enrollment at Miami-Dade College.
Right.
So we're setting up.
Hopefully, when they're done with high school, they got 2 years.
Correct.
Those 2 years at Dade transfers almost everywhere. Correct.
Correct. And that's how our success rate is very high with kids graduating from college, because when they actually enroll as a freshman, usually they're somewhat
they got all their electives out.
Correct. Yep.
So they can just concentrate on the core of the last 2 years, 3 years.
Yep. And this past year, we also had 2 students, our valedictorian, Luca Guerrera, who was accepted to West Point. He's a kicker to play football.
Where did he play football?
Miami Central. He earned his 8th degree. And we had another young man named Lucas Pineda, who played at Killian this past year. He also earned his 8th degree. He's at West Georgia now, too. So we have students who's actually coming in, and they're seriously. So we're kind of known in the community as a sports schools because we have high-profile students. But our academics, as you can see.
How many students do you have in the school?
We have over 300 students right now.
And then the sports?
Sports, well, technically our students are, separate from the sports.
Right.
So yes. So as far as football players, there's maybe like 100.
You don't do any other sports on football? You do everything.
Well, yeah, we have football, basketball, soccer.
A mixture.
Yeah, I mean the whole 9 yards technically. Just me thinking, but majority of our high profile kids are football players. But we just had a baseball play this year.
From where?
From Miami, True North. Misal, he made first team Miami-Dade, and he signed full scholarship to the Youngstown State University Division I program. Youngstown State University
in Ohio.
Yep, that's correct.
But that's known for football.
Correct. Yeah.
Then that like aren't they like the JUCO champions every other year?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
All right. So, how do you feel you're doing for the kids?
I feel I'm doing great because of the knowledge I wish I would have known. I'm a first generation college student, so I was someone who, when I enrolled at Miami-Dade, I didn't even know I even can drop a class. So you can imagine. So the knowledge that I have now, I give to these students in advance. So when you enroll at Rise, I literally create a plan for you, what we call an action plan. You're gonna know the moment you enroll what you need to do, and when it's time for those kids to go to college, their 8-degree plan, I explain that to them from beginning to end. So there's no confusion. Whereas with me, it was confusion. So I use my negative and turn it to a positive. So when you enroll with me, you're gonna know the whole blueprint from high school to college.
What's your thoughts on your on the sports side? College, these kids are just changing college year after year. It's about money. But in high school, there's kids that are changing every year. Why?
Well, it starts at the youth level, the youth football level. Just when you get a chance, look at the youth level. The kids change teams every year. I remember when I was working for Generation X at the time, I want to say it was maybe 8 years ago, I watched how kids was just changing teams. And I told the coaches, in another 2-3 years, that group of parents and kids are coming up. Get ready for it, because they're so used to changing teams and having their way. It trickled over to high school, and now we have it in college now. So, I mean, honestly, it comes down to parenting. Now, honestly, majority of these kids, you're literally, as a coach, raising the kid and the parent. And that's the hard part now today as a coach. It's not like before where it was structured at home. You're literally raising the child and the parent.
So, one year, I told you, when you're at the Broncos, you're going to start picturing in your head the intramural program. I had a father come up to me, his son was 4, and says, we didn't keep score.
Right.
Everybody played, every other series coming out. I had a father come up to me and says, I'm not raising a lineman. I'm raising a running back. He was 4.
Yep.
So I gave him his registration money. Go find another park. He was 4. I think he's raising. At 4 years old, they're not playing football. They push down. They get down. They wrestle. Can push up. Mm-hmm. So it's hard because the point you're making is the parents.
Times 3 now. Think about that times 3. Once you understand recruiting and how to become a Division I prospect, you can't tell a parent in youth football who's my height, oh yeah, my son's going to be a quarterback. And knowing how recruiting world works, is he at least 6'2", 6'3"?
Well,
you can't tell them that. You can't tell them
colleges, because my kid went through it. Colleges know this is the typical size of a running back. This is the typical size of their speed. And they have it all breaking down. Now, there's kids that don't fit that mold, but this is the mold they're looking for.
Correct.
And if you look at some college baseball teams, the head coach wants a certain size and a certain look.
That's right.
So you can't change it. If you don't fit that mold, you must be a freak and be such a better athlete.
The it factor, what they call it. There's always an exception to the rule.
Is it called hit?
The
it factor.
The it or the exception, whichever lingo you want to use. But another reason why my school is confused with the sports, outside from the school, I voluntarily allow coaches to come to the school, and I help kids get offers who's enrolled in my school. So that can be the little confusion. That has nothing to do with the school. That's just something I like to do because I was coaching. I can't coach anymore. So that's my way of still being in the coaching world without actually coaching. So what you're saying is what I explain with parents. The coaches will come in and they'll say, hey, we want this height, we want this weight. And unfortunately, I'll sometimes bump heads with my own parents, even though I'm not their coach, because a coach is offering this kid.
I could get your son.
Yeah.
You come to my high school, I guarantee you're going to play college ball.
Yeah. I can't dictate the level, but yes, I can guarantee you.
Yeah, but I'm making a point.
Yeah.
These other, I could get it right. They don't tell the parent, it's a JUCO, or nothing
Right.
wrong with JUCO because kids from JUCO gets drafted and all that other stuff.
That's right.
But what are the odds? Some questions. A rising star. Have you ever seen a kid going at 7 or 8? He's got the it factor.
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
And how do you describe that?
Well, over time you pretty much study kids, and the it factor is not just talent, mental makeup. I can meet a kid and I can speak to him. Just the way he speaks, how he conversates back, and most important, these are 2 things that I was successful in. I'll watch a kid, I'll see the way he acts, and number 2, how he responds. You mentioned Coral Reef, for example, right? Coral Reef. We had a kid named Jaheed Silverstein. This is how I watch. He played for, at that time, Coral Reef. Well, Palmetto Bay at the time. And, he played for Goose Rams. And he played against the Richmond team. That same Richmond team had Corey Collier, Jason Marshall, loaded with Division Ones, Mike Jackson, 7 Division Ones. So I know I'm coming to watch the kids, Silverstein, which they call G7. I know they're going to get blowed out. I know they are. But I want to see mentally, is he going to respond knowing that he has no help? And if he can do that, that tells me he can do it anywhere. And that kid ended up becoming a Division I prospect, signed at the University of Arizona. He's now at FIU. So when I say mental makeup, that's how you can tell. Certain kids are only good when they're around certain people.
It's funny because when my younger son was on a recruiting trip, and it was a baseball recruiting trip, even though he's better in baseball, but he was on a recruiting baseball trip, and the head coach tells a story that he was recruiting this pitcher who was probably the best in the state. And he looked unbelievable. He said, I'm going to give this kid a scholarship. He said, but I'm going to go back next week. And the kid was getting crushed. When the head coach high school coach went out to talk to him to pull him out, he threw his glove.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So the head coach of the college says, I am not losing my job over a kid like that.
Correct.
So you're talking about what you just said. If you know the kid who you said, he knew he was going to get crushed, but he stuck it out.
Correct.
That's the it factor.
Correct. And I look at that with every kid. Outside of having the it factor foundation, looking at the parenting. Sometimes the kid is strong enough to still withstand that, but yeah, his support system is just as important. Because if a kid is just talented, but he doesn't have the mental makeup, he's only going to go so far. Because as you see in youth football, talent only gets you so far. You have to continue to work. And those guys are used to having everything handed to them, right? So they're going to stop working. And that's how people surpass them over time. And I watch this over time. It's almost as I study it. So I can look at a kid and I can see the way he acts. He's more superstar divish. And he's going to probably tap out. Where there's a kid on the team we call a 6-play kid. He's not hit a growth spurt. He's always been a great worker. He just never had the size. That kid, for a fact, over time it's going to surpass him. Wow. And that's how it works.
Well, again, I want to thank you for what you do for our community, because you're changing kids' lives and changing parents' lives. So keep up the good work, everybody. And with Jerry Williamson, with Rise, everybody, have a great day.